I think I said he's the best left back since Cole. Actually, you know what? I'm chatting. Maybe I did say that actually. Because you know what? Because I rate him high. I rate the kid high.
I rate him, but you really believe that? That's a mad thing, you know.
Well, look, I think we'd agree. Ashley Cole is arguably the greatest left back of the modern generation, right? You're looking at Cole's in that discussion with Maldini, right? He's in that.
I don't want to make it too big, but he's that. So he's the best.
So hang on, how could you then shoot me down for saying that Lewis-Skelly is the regen of Cole?
I'm not shooting you down. I'm saying the man are asking. The man are saying you said that. I didn't say it.
And then
you're wrong, you know.
Like he's better than Maldini.
I did not say you're wrong, you know. I didn't say you're wrong. I just said the man asked you for your comment. I didn't say you're wrong. You're a journalist. It's your job to get it info.
Rand's got me rattled now. You see what it is? Rand's got me rattled. I don't like that. I'm going to text Rand later on. He's got me rattled. But for clarity, I probably did say that. And look, it's debatable. Some would say maybe that's a little bit of a step too far. But I think his ceiling is really, really high. I think his ceiling is high. I think he's got the look. It's been 15 games, right? So I don't like to judge players.
Yeah, some would say you're moving excited then.
Well, and that's not like me, because normally I like to give a couple of years before I really kind of settle on a player and think about.
We see you on Channel 4. We know you're very articulate in that.
It's not even that. It's just more a thing of I don't like to gas on like he's crap or he's great unless I see something obvious. Like, okay, give me a quick example. I called Anthony on his debut. Anthony on his debut scored against Arsenal at Old Trafford, right? He played for 65 minutes, I think, 70 minutes. I remember in all my group chats saying he ain't gonna make it.
Idiot goal against Zinchenko.
I got battered. Yeah, because what do you mean? I saw from the get-go, the step-overs, nah, bro, you're not fooling me. His selfishness, I just saw it. So him falling off now is no surprise to me. So sometimes I make a quick call because I know my football. I could be like, nah, this kid's got something, or nah, he's not the one. But normally, I like to wait a little bit of time before I kind of really settle on a playable way. But Lewis-Skelly's a problem. He's a problem.
I want to ask you a double-edged question about Lewis-Skelly. First thing is, obviously, how do you feel he's portrayed in the media? Because I know, you know, but like people might not know. And two, what do you make of his performance against Real Madrid? And what have you made of his time in general at Arsenal at the moment? It's been a great 8 months.
First of all, am I coming through my microphone? I've had some issues with my mic. Am I sounding clear and crisp?
I don't know, you know. I don't know. I'm the wrong person to ask because you just sound how you sound if I speak to you, bro. I just your voice, innit?
No, what? I'm not. I am now.
You sound. Do you know what? Now, whenever you just spoke, you did sound a bit more crisper than you did at the beginning. I don't know if that means anything.
Is that what? I sound better now, yeah.
Yeah.
Viewers, let us know if I sound a bit better now. Because
he said you're crap, but that was before you just said what you said.
Okay, right? All right.
We're not audio duns. We're football duns.
Hello. So first, your question: what do I think of the media representation of Lewis-Skelly? Look, I think there's been perceptions placed upon him based off of incidents that have happened on the pitch. So the red cards that he's got, one being rescinded. I think there's generally an element of, in this country, we like to shoot down talent and rising stars early anyway. I think that's just like something that this country does. And I think there's been an element of just giving this kid a hard time unnecessarily. I don't quite know why that is, because the kid he's not done anything particularly bad as far as I'm concerned. But the elephant in the room for me is also the fact that this is a black kid. And I know people were saying, oh, you're always bringing up racism. Oh, you're always bringing up the black thing. Oh, you're always doing this. I don't business. There's definitely an unconscious bias that I think we judge him differently to how we judge another rising kid that may be white or not black. So I think that kind of subtly plays a role in how people perceive him. I think that there's a confidence that I think is being construed as arrogance. Do you know what I mean? So you still there, by the way?
Yeah, I'm there, man. I'm coming back in.
All right. I think there's definitely a conflation of confidence with arrogance. This is a young kid that is confident in his ability, confident in who he is. I've had the pleasure of being on a couple of podcasts with his mother.
Big up his mum. Big up Marcia.
And I watch a lot of the content that she's done. And look, I don't pretend like I know these people, but it's easy to see why he's the confident young man he is when you understand the background and the raising that he's had.
Me and you both
So
know why there's confidence there.
yeah, and I'm fine with it. The whole him responding, that's important. He responded to Haaland's goading. I thought was totally weird. And sorry, not his responding. The reaction to it was weird. People were acting like the celebration he did was
He
like
just come out of nowhere.
well, and also people were acting like he told like he was effing and jeffing, or
Like
he
he told
said
him suck his
something
mum or
he
something.
said something anti-Semitic or something homophobic. He said it's namaste. It's the most peaceful
A man
celebration we've
went,
ever done. Yeah, and I think in football we're missing. We're definitely missing some characters, some personality, and I had no issue. I know a lot of Arsenal fans did. I had no issue, CJ, when Haaland was chucking it to our manager. I had no problem with it because it's not. This isn't boxing. It's not a combat sport. It's football.
and Kevin De
What's
Bruyne
going to
many
happen?
years before that.
Say again.
And Kevin De Bruyne many years before that when he pushed our I don't mind, bro.
I'm
Man,
all right
you
with that.
played ball, I played ball. Man, grow up on the
I'm
gritty
all right
stuff,
with
bro.
that, man. Just grow up. But my big
Lidge.
thing is, I'm cool with you chucking it. You can chuck it, but you better hold it. When it comes your way, just hold it. And to be fair to Haaland, he held it. All
Yeah.
this,
He didn't even make a scene.
because he knows how it's all part of the game. All this,
It's the
oh, he's
media who
getting
did
out
the
of
mad
his
thing.
he's too big for his boots, and how dare he? And he hasn't done anything. And Haaland's won golden boots and prems and trebles. I'm like, shut up, man. If man puts it on you, you could okay. I'll see you. I'll see you in London. I'll see you in 6 months in London. Yeah, he scored
And
a
Haaland will
goal.
have his time as well when we
Of course.
inevitably
And
lose to City.
listen,
And yeah,
next year, Haaland will body him at the Etihad, and he'll have his laugh. I'm cool with it. I'm all right. So there was so much made of that whole back exchange
right.
that I just thought one was I think was biased against Lewis-Skelly for reasons I've outlined. But even he put that to one side, I'm like, don't we want this kind of beef? We want this as long as it stays legal and it doesn't cross the boundaries. You chuck it, I chuck it. You chuck it, I chuck it. Like what we do, football's got so boring that for me was like, I want more of that. Now, as long
Exactly.
as it doesn't impact his game, if it gets to the point where he's becoming a character or a caricature and is impacting on his actual game and performances, then that's different. Like first and foremost, you got to deliver, or you look stupid.
You
You look
have
like
to do, you have to do
You look
your
like
thing
Neil
or you look
Maupay.
like a prick.
You look like Neil Maupay, who's battering everybody. But bruv, aren't you in Division 2 in France? It's like, what are we doing here? So you got to perform first and foremost. Once you performed, bruv,
You do
it's
your thing.
gloves off.
Do you know
And
what, Jordan? Nah, do you
sorry,
know what, Jordan?
go on, go on,
As
go on.
much as you're my guy and I like to talk Arsenal because we're both fans, yeah, I think this is a like a time to hone in on this because obviously this is your job. You see it. It's one thing, you know, racism, the N word, all of this kind of stuff. But like for people that are not listening, like what sort of other forms? Because I don't know how you'd articulate it, but for me, I think one thing with Lewis-Skelly, like you said, obviously you see what his mum's doing in the game. I think people forget he's living his dream. Obviously, he responded to Haaland, but I don't know how you would articulate or what it would be, yeah. But it's like they move like he's 70 years of age when he's an 18-year-old, been in the game 9 months. And I'm not saying Foden's got anything to do with it, but they kind of move like Foden's a child. So it's like, what are the other ways they kind of terminalize it? Because I would say for people listening, one thing they talk about black players is they talk about the physical qualities. And it's like what Jordan said there is like people will say there's no personalities, but then they will say with Lewis-Skelly, oh, mate, I just don't like him. He's got a chip on his shoulder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like that all derives from perceptions placed on, like I said, I think when someone's on the rise, just no matter what color they are in this country, I think people put perceptions on people. They want to try and push them back down. And this is a guy that's not like it's not like Saka. It's very interesting to see how everyone loves Saka. Why?
Until he misses a pen.
Well, there's that, but also because Saka comes across as very humble. And there's nothing wrong with humility. If you're a humble person, be humble. Saka's not really about that. I think it's very interesting seeing the differences between, forget Saka, Nwaneri and Lewis-Skelly. Because you've got two players that are very, very talented and very, very confident, but they display it in different ways. They display their confidence. Lewis-Skelly is, I know that I'm really, really good. And I'm going to push out my chest and I'm going to flex and I'm going to smile at you while I go past you. Because I know that I'm good, right? Nwaneri's like, I know that I'm good, but I'm not going to give you all the pomp
I'm
and
not going to do the
ceremony.
chatting thing.
I'm gonna just dupper you, go past you, put it top bins, and then walk back to this halfway line because that's what I do. That's what I do. I don't need to laugh at you. I don't need to smile at you. I don't need to make a big deal out of it. This is what I know. I'm better than you. So
Facts.
long for the banter. I ain't got time for the banter. Whereas Lewis-Skelly's on the banter thing. So and you're not seeing the same criticism of Nwaneri as you are of Lewis-Skelly. Why? Because Nwaneri, there's books out there that are written about this, called The Good Immigrant, right? Nwaneri is seen as the good black guy, and that's not a
Yes,
criticism
sir.
towards
No,
him.
but 3 bags for, sir.
Yeah, and I'm not criticizing Nwaneri.
No, you're talking broadly about this thing.
Yeah, he's just being who he is. But in this country, he's seen as the good, humble guy. Saka's seen as the nice, humble black guy, the acceptable black guy. Know your place, right? Whereas Miles Lewis-Skelly, for me, it's nah, man, I'm outside. I'm outside, Pete.
I'm one of them.
Yeah, I love Saka. I love Nwaneri. I love Lewis-Skelly because they're all different in there, but they're all confident, but they're confident in different ways. And I think we're seeing with Lewis-Skelly, when you're confident in that way, oh, we don't like that. Yeah, no, just humble.
How dare you?
How dare you? Just, do you know what I mean? So, and that's where us as Arsenal fans, but us as also black people and everybody, we have to be ready for that and call it out, and we have to protect him when he does wrong. I will call him out. Don't get it twisted. No one gets a pass.
Yeah, 100.
When he does a madness, I'll be the first one to say, no, that was wrong. We're not having that. But until that point, are you mad? Are you mad?
That's the thing, Jordan, though, man. Like, it's not like that's the thing with Lewis-Skelly. Like, obviously, on a football pitch, if you played well, cool, chat your shit, run your banter. If you've played badly or made mistakes, like you said there, we'll call it out. But do you think like it's crossed beyond that? Like, he will never be spoken about, like not even positively or negatively, just fairly. Like, do you? In fact, better question: do you think already in his at 18 years of age, being a footballer, 8-9 months, he's already kind of crossed into that? Like Sterling, Rashford, them kind of man, kind of territory where, bro, you're a journalist. You know what I'm talking about.
I don't know. I don't know if he's kind of got to that. I think as his profile increases, as his Arsenal achievements increase, and there's a crossover with those two things. So if he wins the Champions League, or if he, asserts himself when he wins the Champions League this season, if and when he locks down the left back role for England at next year's World Cup, I think then there'll be a level of scrutiny on him that will require him to be a bit more savvy. And I don't say be less of himself or code switch, but just be a bit more savvy, because that's when the media will come for you and they'll look for things to try and bring you down. Now, when I say the media, I'm conscious, as you mentioned, that I'm part of the media. So I don't distance myself from the media. I am the media.
Now, people know what you're talking about with that.
Yeah, I'm a member of the media, but I'm able to kind of see through the effery and the nonsense, and I can call out my colleagues when I see nonsense in the same way that I did when they put Saka on the back page of and front page of the newspapers 6 months ago, a year ago, when England lost or drew a game, and he came off the bench. But yeah, he was seen as the face of that failure, and I called out the media. So I'm aware that I am part of the media, but I'm also a black person. That I'm a black man first. I'm a black man first. So if I see that nonsense, I'm gonna call it out. I don't think he's in that kind of realm fully yet, but if he continues on the current trajectory, I hope it doesn't happen. But we've seen it happen enough times to kind of not be surprised if it does happen.
Nah, Jordan, you're being far too kind. I hope it doesn't happen, but like, you're older than me. You've worked in the media world more than me. This is just another guy off the conveyor belt, really. Unfortunately, you know what time it is with Miles Lewis-Skelly. The one thing I would say is clearly between his mum and his family, he's a good guy. Between himself, he's clearly, as long as Arteta thinks you're playing well, the team think you're playing well, the fans think you're playing well, and everybody that's got some common sense, whether they're white, black, or whatever, that can see it for what it is what it is. I've given up with the media. I know it's never going to change. I think it's going to go unchecked. I think people like yourself are fighting the cause and doing quite well, but it's the belly of the kind of beast. From a footballing perspective, then, what do you make of Lewis-Skelly against Madrid? Because he's living a movie.
Yeah, man, he was brilliant, man. I think we have to kind of really check ourselves and remember this kid. He was on the preseason tour, and if he got five sub appearances this season, he would have been gassed. He would have been gassed,
let
right?
alone
Yeah,
what he's doing.
I,
Yeah,
I, I don't know. Mertesacker and Arteta will know for sure if there was a plan for him to have anywhere near this amount of games. But I'm not sure there would have been, because when you think left back, that's the one area we're quite stacked. So you can't tell me that they were planning for him to come from being the fifth choice left back to starting left back.
doing what he's doing now. Yeah,
Yeah, so I think we have to recognize the rise of this kid. This kid in 6 months has racked up a Champions League debut, a Premier League debut, starting debuts in both competitions, an England debut, an England goal, a Premier League goal against
not
Man
making Real
City.
Madrid players. You know,
Say again?
not making Real Madrid players, bro.
Oh, I'm getting
Doing
there.
mad.
I'm getting there. And I was getting there. I'm getting there.
Take it away.
Scored a goal against Man City in a 5-1 beatdown. Was one of the top players in a European Champions League first leg quarterfinal against European heritage, European royalty, and didn't look out of place at all. My man's up against Vinny Jr., Mbappe, and Bellingham and them man there, and look comfortable.
Like he's built for this, which he is.
Yeah, man, it was nothing. And that's all within what, 6 months? This kid has come from
Movie.
nowhere. I think what we've got to do now, and let's see how the season plays out. Let's get the season finished. But I think we have to make sure now that there's a plan for him, right? And we know where we want him to be. What are the skill sets that we want to train him up to have to play at left back, if indeed he stays at left back? We've got to manage his minutes. His body is still the body of a boy. So this guy cannot play 3, 4, 5 games, 90 minutes in a row. So we've got to manage that as well. I do think he should be our left back for next season if all things go according to plan. But there's games in that first handful of games after a rigorous, because he'll be with the first team proper now training. There'll be games where he flakes after an hour because, like I said, he's still got a child's body.
Still learning.
This guy can't rack up 3 games in a week, 90 minutes. So there's got to be a plan in place for him. And I think once we do that, we then got to support him, protect him. I feel, CJ, that I said it on Forever the other day. This guy will concede and cost us certain goals and cards because the way he plays is quite risky. It's very risky how he plays, right? And it will cause us problems at times. He'll cause us goals and red cards. But you know what? The way that he plays, it will benefit us more than it hurts us. Yeah, he'll get caught out of position quite a few times. He'll give the ball away quite a few times, lunge, get a cheap yellow, maybe a second yellow, and that will happen over the course of 38 games. But over the course of 38 games, I think he'll bring us more than he takes away from us. And I'm really excited to see his trajectory next year because this year's been an absolute movie.
Do you think he's first choice left back now? And if you do we need another left back to be like thinking because Tierney's cutting?
Well, people talk about him playing in midfield because that's why he was initially a midfielder, wasn't he? When he was in the youth
Reminds
team.
me of Dembele, man. I think
he does a little bit actually as well. The reason why I would leave him at left back is because most of our left backs go into midfield anyway.
True.
You know what I mean? They go into midfield anyway, and I think he does have qualities that make him defensively very sharp as well. He needs to improve on a few things. I think you want your defenders, or I do anyway, to think defense first, attack second.
Facts.
And the concern, I guess, is that he's always thinking, how can I impact the attack? How can I get on the front foot? How can I drive 30 yards diagonally from left back into midfield? Whereas what you want him thinking is, what's around me? Any danger? First.
Shall I look over my shoulder? How do I talk to Kivio, for example, like against Everton?
Positioning. How far is Gabriel from me? How far is the keeper from me? You want him aware of those things first and then thinking, right, I'm nice. Give me the ball. Yeah?
Let me do my thing, yeah.
Let me do my thing now. You know what I mean? Now that I know I'm good, I've got the foundations are set. Let's go and cook. Whereas I think he's the opposite. I think he thinks, how can I score a goal? Or how can I put in Saka, over the top? How can I drive